Hey everybody, today I'm gonna deviate a little bit from the plan. Like normally I would continue on with my makeup routine, but since I last recorded I've started a new eyeshadow series, which is the Smoky Eye series, and one of my bestest and most amazing friends said she wanted to learn how to do it. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to abandon the plan today and we're going to do it. So I think I might do two of these videos. One showing this technique and another one later on showing another technique. Just up to you what you feel comfortable doing. Also, I think with smoky eyes, a lot of people kind of shy away from it because they think that they have to use a lot of black eyeshadow and they're maybe not comfortable with that. But it's really just a technique. I mean, a lot of you who are on my Facebook page will have seen the first look that I did yesterday, which I actually used browns and burgundies to do that look. So you don't have to use a lot of black. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duck away briefly and I'm going to collect up all the bits and pieces that I need, like brushes and stuff like that, and I'll be back with you shortly. Okay everyone, so I'm back. I've got together what bits and pieces I think that I need, but you know me, I've probably forgotten something, so I might have to duck off again. The key with this look is blending. Blending is everything. In saying that though, it's probably easier than, say, the extended cut crease because you don't need to have that steady hand to get those clean lines. But just take your time with the blending, and it's a good one to practice your blending. So basically what I've got is what's this called? A small pencil or inner corner brush. That's going to give us the shape that we want for where the eyeshadow is going to be placed. Then I've got a slightly larger, almost slightly angled brush. That's going to be for us to use our second shade and to blend the smoky eye shade into that shade. And then we've got our large fluffy blender, which we're going to use for a lot of things. The main thing we're going to use that for is the first eyeshadow color that I'm going to put down will be like a transition blending shade. So that will be for that, and also for the rest of the blending later on, because the softer that the bristles are, like you can see, they just bend, the better it is for blending. So let's get started. Okay, so it looks like I might have got better lighting today, so it's looking good for, oh God, for that you'll be able to see really well what I'm doing. I haven't even picked colours today, so I'll kind of just make sure that I pick colours that are really easy to see. So as you can see, I've marked up my eyebrows. I've put on eyeshadow primer, and other than my skincare, that's pretty much all that I've done so far. So I'm going to grab my fluffy blender and I'm going to pick a transition base shade. Usually what I'll pick for a transition base shade, that was good, wasn't it? Transition merrily. Honestly. Anyway, what I usually pick for a transition shade is a fairly light neutral shade. Something really soft. And I'm looking at my palette here. I've got a cream shadow. I've got like a rose pink. I've also got like a tawny brown. So for the purposes of this video, and just because I'm really liking it. I'm going to choose the tawny brown, which is this shade here. So I'm just kind of patting my blender into the colour, and you can see the colour on the bristles there. So let's see now. I've just got a mirror next to me, so if you see me glancing this way occasionally, that's why. I'm just going to start right here in the corner of that eye socket. As you can see, there's the colour there. So that's going to be good because we can all see it. So if you can see where the line of that eye socket goes there, we're just going to put the colour in that line and above it. So I'm just going to pat it for now. The reason why I raise my eyebrows is because it tightens the skin above my eye and it just makes everything easier. Actually, that's a really good colour. I like it. And I'm just going to kind of smudge it into that corner, just so that it joins into the rest of the eye. Just like that. Now I'm going to dip in a second time, but this time I'm going to tap off just gently, just so we're not getting too much product. And I'm just going to go from this side this time, just so that the eyeshadow is even on both sides, like that we don't have a lot of colour loaded up in this side and not much in this side. And I'm just patting it on, you know, as you do. Okay, so this time we're going to start blending. Patting in again, but this time we're going to tap off the excess quite a lot, just so that we don't have too much product that we're trying to blend. So I'm just again patting it in, but this time I'm kind of sweeping my brush back and forwards, just trying to soften the edge of that line so that we have everything nicely blended, no harsh lines, and that everything looks really soft. It doesn't matter how long this takes, just keep blending until you're happy with the way that it looks. And I'm just kind of blowing it out a little bit on that side. And you just go back and forward in small circles, or you can sweep it back and forwards like I was doing before, just like this. And you don't have to press very hard, because if you press too hard, you're not getting that soft look. You're just kind of sitting the brush on the top of the skin and moving it across the product that you've already placed there. So back into that socket there. And this bit here just needs a bit more blending down into the side of the nose there. And then out. And when we just soften this area here, I think we should be just about done. Yep, that looks good to me. So we've got our first shade on, our transition shade. I can actually see there that it's still a little bit harsh, so I'll just blend it softly until it looks nicely blended. Let me have a look in my mirror. Oh yeah, that's good. I'm happy with that. Now I'm just going to go ahead off camera and do the other eye, and then we'll be back to place the... I think we might do the second shade first. That doesn't make sense, does it? But in a minute when I do it, it will make sense. So I'll be back in like 2 secs. Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and choose and place the second colour. Now, as we've got that tawny brown, we want a shade that's just a little bit darker than that, but not the darkest shade that we're going to use, because the darkest shade that we're going to use will be that smoky eye colour on the lid. So I'm just kind of looking here. There's actually just above that tawny brown colour, sorry, I don't know if that works, there's like a chocolate biscuit brown. I think I'll use that one. So what I'm doing is with this, because we want to place more colour this time, I'm just kind of rubbing the bristles into the shadow, and you can see that I've actually got quite a lot of colour on the brush. That's fine. So what we're going to do, as we did last time where we placed the colour above that eye socket line, we're actually going to place it right in the eye socket along here. And we're just going to create that rounded shape that will be the shape of our smoky eye. I usually start in the socket because it's just a really good point of reference for me to go back to. A lot of people like to start here so that they're not loading too much colour in close to here. I've just gotten into practice doing it this way, but you can do it whatever way you like. So once again, we're just kind of patting or dotting the colour, but this time I'm putting it right into that socket line, and I'm just kind of curving it round towards the lash line so it gives it that nice rounded shape, kind of like the same shape as the eye itself. So as you can see there, because these are really good colours today that you can see really well, we've got that shape starting to emerge. So I'm just going to dab in this time and gently tap off the excess product. And we're going to go from this side now, just to give that continuity of product as I was saying before. And we're just dabbing it along the same line as what we did the first time, angling it in towards the lash line, just to give that nice rounded shape. Now this time I'm just dabbing gently, and we're tapping off quite a lot of excess because now we're going to kind of blend it a bit. So I'll just pat along, but now what I'm going to do is I'm just softly running the brush back and forth just to blur that line. Just small circles with this one, and just go right along that area there where we've placed the colour. And I'm liking the way it's looking. I can already tell that it's blending nicely. So we have that effect. Now what we're going to do to make sure it's all blending nicely, we're just going to pat back into that tawny colour just softly and tap off the excess. Now where that's started to blend up, we're just going to softly rub our brush across, just again to remove any harshness. Make sure everything's really, really soft, because this look in particular, you want everything to look really, really soft. You don't need any crisp, sharp lines like the other looks. Everything just has to be soft. I sometimes describe it as velvety, and it kind of is a bit like that. Now I'm going to just use this soft blending brush and tap into that darker brown shade that we did, tapping off the excess, and just soften the colour into the tawny brown. I'm kind of hardly even putting any pressure at all on the brush. I'm just kind of like sweeping it over the top. So that's looking pretty good to me. It's got that smoky effect, and as I said at the start, you don't have to use black to get that effect. Now again, I'm just going to go and do the other eye off camera, and then in a minute we'll be back to place our smoky eye colour. Okay everyone, we're going to go and pick our darkest shade now. As you know, we've done a tawny brown, a chocolate brown, and now we need to do our very darkest shade. There is a black on this palette, but there's actually like a chocolate brown with a gold reflect just here. So I think I'm going to use that one, because later on when I finish my look, I'm going to put some glitter, because if you know me, I'm absolutely and completely obsessed with glitter, and I can't do a makeup look without glitter. So I'm just going to put some fine gold glitter across the eyelids, so that brown with the gold reflect will fit in with those colours. So we've got our pencil brush, and I'm just rubbing it around in a circle over the top of the pan, and then I'm just going right into that socket and just following it around, much more closely to the eyeball. And as you can see, it's darker than the colour that we just placed, but not extremely dark. Before I started this series, I really wanted to get across that, yes, I use a lot of dark goth makeup, but you don't have to. Just because it's a smoky eye, it just refers to the technique, not the colours that you have to use. Like, you could do a smoky eye with red or blue or whatever you would like to do. And later on in the series, I'll be using other colours. So if you don't see the next video with different colours, you can always go take a look at my Facebook page, because on Mondays and Fridays I'll be posting pictures of looks on there. So this is my final pass with this dark colour. I've patted it right into that eye socket, and I'm just going to get a little more, and now we're just going to sweep it across the lid. And I think I'll just grab a little bit more on the brush, just to make it a little darker. Okay, now I'm just going to pat my brush into the dark colour, and I'm just going to sweep it back and forwards to soften the dark colour into our medium brown. Okay, so again we're going to grab our medium brush, basically blending. An easy way to explain it is you're going back in with the previous colours to soften the colour that you just did, if that makes sense. So I'm dipping back into our chocolate brown, just not a lot of product on the brush, because I don't want to completely cover the dark shade that I've just done, but we don't want any hard lines either. Okay, and then I'm just going to soften everything with the tawny lighter brown. Okay, now I'm liking the way that's looking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye and the rest of my look. What I would normally do to complete the look is I would continue the colours underneath my eye there, but I wouldn't take them too far down, because as you can see, I've got quite a large dark circle under my eye here, and any colour that I place in there is just going to cling to that and it will accentuate it more. But that's the general procedure for the smoky eye. Obviously later on I'll be putting on things like you heard me say, glitter and, you know, eyeliner and eyelashes and all of those things. But in the next video, which I'll probably do like eyeshadow finishing touches, it will be all about those things that I put on afterwards, like the under eyeshadow, the inner corner colour, our brow bone highlighter, glitter, stuff like that. So anyway, that's the basic smoky eye tutorial. Later on in the series, because I've done brown, I'll try to do another video with a completely different colour and a little bit of a different technique. Anyway, that's the smoky eye. I hope that you find it easy to follow and that you have fun with it, and I'll see you next video.